In this video, I want to look at traditional bootcamps. We'll understand how they work, what they typically cover, and what you get out of them. I'll then be comparing them to my bootcamp to highlight how much more value you'll be getting at Future Fullstack. Let's check it out. So let's first look at the different types of bootcamp options. There are three main types of bootcamps: full-time, part-time, and self-paced. Full-time and part-time are fairly self-explanatory, while self-paced is a newer style of bootcamp, where usually there is a lot more independent work and you get assigned mentors as opposed to attending fixed classes. Let's first look at the weekly hours from each of these. Full-time is usually 30 hours a week. Part-time is usually 15 hours a week. And self-paced is variable, as you commit to whatever suits you. We'll now look at the duration. That is how long each bootcamp takes to complete. Full-time bootcamps are usually completed in around 3 months. Part-time in around 6 months. And self-paced again is variable, as it depends how much time you do a week. Finally, from the main event is the cost. A full-time bootcamp averages around $14,000 US. A part-time bootcamp is around $12,000 US, and a self-paced is around $9,000 US. So why are they so expensive? The main reason is they have to cover the cost of paying an array of teachers who usually deliver different parts of the course. There are also other significant overheads like marketing budgets, facilities, etc. So adding all of this up and then whacking a profit margin on top, you end up with these fairly high prices. This amount of money is no short change, and you better be sure you're going to be getting value from this if you decide to go down this path. I'm going to show you an overview of 2 prominent bootcamps and compare what they cover and what I cover to demonstrate that you're not going to learn any more from one of these bootcamps compared to my bootcamp. In fact, you'll be learning more from me. Let's first look at IronHack. In terms of their curriculum, for the fundamentals, they cover HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which I also cover. And for full stack development, they cover MongoDB, Express, Node, and React, which I do as well. They also mention other things like version control with Git, which we also do. And I actually can't find anything in their curriculum about web design with Figma, which I cover in my course, as well as using JSON Web Tokens, JWTs, which means I don't think they do any kind of user authentication or authorization, which is critical for full stack web development. And again, I cover in my course. You can check out the full curriculum of IronHack for yourself. I've posted a link in the description below where you can download their curriculum. Now, the duration of their bootcamp is 9 weeks full-time. The cost is $12,500 US, and the delivery is both in-person and online. The second bootcamp I want to show you is called HyperDev. These guys are actually pretty interesting. I first came across them from advertisements on the London Underground. They've partnered with prominent universities in the UK to enable these universities to offer these bootcamps under the university branding, but behind the scenes, it's actually HyperDev providing the education. For example, this is the University of Edinburgh, and you can see in the top left here, in partnership with HyperDev. So looking at their curriculum now, for the fundamentals, they also cover HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which I do in my course. And for full stack development, they also do MongoDB, Express, Node, and React, which I do as well. In their prospectus, they also mention other things like version control with Git, which again, I also do. And I also can't find anything in there about web design with Figma or JWTs for user authentication and authorization, which I cover in my course. It does look like they do a small module on Next.js as well, which I won't deny is a good thing to do, but is covered in very little detail, so probably not that helpful. I've also posted a link to their website in the description below, so you can download the full curriculum if you'd like to see it. The duration of their bootcamp is 12 weeks full-time. The cost is $10,500 US, and the delivery is only online. This bootcamp also takes a self-paced approach, where there doesn't seem to be fixed classes, but rather you're assigned a mentor and complete code challenges each week. So what will you get from a bootcamp? In terms of actual knowledge you walk away with, you will get a base. That's it. Don't think you'll do a bootcamp and walk away a gun developer. It's not going to happen. For example, as part of my structural engineering degree, I've done some pretty high-level university maths. Now, if I knew no maths whatsoever, it would be ridiculous of me to expect to do a 3-month full-time course and walk away with the knowledge and skills that was acquired over primary, secondary, and tertiary education. If I did a 3-month maths course without knowing anything, I'd probably be able to get a base in algebra, geometry, but I don't think I'd be doing multivariate calculus. It's the same for web development. You'll get a base in the fundamentals and full stack. A base that you will continue to need to build on top of. Now, if you are considering doing a bootcamp, it's always a good idea to read what others have to say about it. There are some good Reddit threads that I've put in the description below, and I generally find there are some reoccurring themes, which I'll highlight here. It gives you a base to get started, but you need to have the passion to push yourself. Another comment says, "Did the coding bootcamp open that door for me? No, I did. I spent thousands of hours learning web development." And another comment says, "The best bootcamp graduates are the ones that use the experience as a springboard into programming and pursuing their own technical interests." So I hope you can see a general theme coming out of this. A bootcamp gives you a base. So should you do a bootcamp? I'm not going to be one of those dodgy sales guys and say, no, you shouldn't. If you believe the only way you'll get started on this journey is by throwing yourself into a full-time traditional bootcamp, then maybe you should. But speaking frankly, if that is your attitude, you probably shouldn't be getting into web development in the first place. As you can see from these quotes, there's a common theme. You need to have the passion to push yourself. I spent thousands of hours learning web development and pursuing their own technical interests. To be a successful developer, you will need that ability to learn on your own and be resourceful. A career in web development is all about self-learning, and a bootcamp won't teach you that. You just need to have that drive to want to learn more. To be blunt, if you are unable to teach yourself web development on a course like mine or other places on the internet, you probably should not be thinking of entering web development as a career, let alone wasting $10,000 on a bootcamp. So let's now compare traditional bootcamps with the Future Fullstack bootcamp. So we've got our traditional bootcamps and the Future Fullstack bootcamp. In both cases, you will walk away with the same knowledge base. In fact, I'd argue you'll learn even more with me because of my strong product background. I've injected a lot of guidance on web design with an entire unit dedicated to this, and generally bootcamps do not cover this as this is getting into product and UI design. I also teach proper user authentication and authorization with JWTs, which means your full-stack applications can have users which can sign in and register, and users can perform actions like create, view, update, and delete their own resources. In my course, I also try to give you an experience similar to a real bootcamp, like starting alongside others in a cohort, joining our supportive community, and providing tailored learning plans according to your circumstances. So, if you have a spare $10,000 lying around, you can afford 3 months with no income, as well as the several months it's going to take you to get a job. And if you really feel like you can't get started without throwing yourself into a traditional approach to learning, then yes, do a traditional bootcamp. Otherwise, I would really caution you from doing it. With a little bit of motivation, you don't need to fork out $10,000. You can learn alongside your regular job, and you'll be able to walk away with the same outcome of completing a bootcamp and getting a certification. Oh, and you'll get to learn with me. And I promise you, I'm one of the best teachers online, so we'll be learning in the most fun and efficient way. Alright, so we're ready to get started. I hope I've done a good job of convincing you why Future Fullstack is the ultimate online bootcamp. Let's get started nice and slow by looking at some basic concepts in web development. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop with new releases. See you soon.